We are in Genova, the 6th largest city in Italy and one of the busiest ports in the wider Mediterranean Sea. The city forms part of the Gulf of Genova in the Ligurian Sea and for 7 centuries was capital of one of the most powerful maritime republics. A city synonymous with seafaring, it's perhaps unsurprising that one of Genova's most famous sons is Christopher Columbus, born here in 1451. More recently, the city's rich history in art, music and cuisine saw it named European Capital of Culture in 2004. Genova, the final stop of the ocean race, and with the nickname La Superba, perhaps this city can stake a claim for being the most beautiful. Miles in the lead. The chase boats are out. And the delegation from the Ocean Race, just on the rib on the left-hand side, Richard Brecius, the race chairman, with some dignitaries from the city of Genova. And the crew now making every moment here count. Absolutely relaxed on board this boat, and why wouldn't you be with the lead that you have here coming in for this boat? Indeed, in the last few days, there was a small possibility that they might make their way into one of the areas where we've seen the wind shut down. Indeed, that is what's happening to the boats far behind them, but it hasn't happened to this team. They managed to link up all the patches in the pressure, and they haven't slowed down. They haven't gone lower than 6 or 7 knots of boat speed for the last 2 or 3 days. A really strong performance from this boat. Flat water here in Genova. Good breeze for Wind Whisper Racing Team, and that finish line is just in front of this boat at the moment. The waves you can see on the water there just churned up by the ribs. That's the only waves that are out there right now. Perfectly flat conditions. They'd probably be hoping for just a breath more breeze, hoping for this boat just to sort of push them a little bit more. But we can go down now to Natasha down at the dockside, ready to welcome in this boat.
Good morning, everybody. Here we are in Genova, Italia, about to welcome our first boat, VO65 Wind Whisper, who we've been waiting for a few days now. Of course, the Mediterranean is a tricky place. The boats get parked up in front here of Genoa, but we're excited to welcome them.
Yeah, finally. I mean, we've had a great weekend here in Genova. The fans have been out, and it's been a fantastic week. But no boats, and they're finally here. But what a performance from Wind Whisper Racing Team. They just sailed the perfect leg. Axel Magdal from Norway, the navigator on board that boat, I think he's going to be the one that they'll be congratulating the most. He sailed, for me, the absolute perfect leg in this one.
Yes, for sure. And soon after that, we'll be welcoming the rest of the fleet, probably the Amocas first, and then the rest of the VO65s. What do you think?
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, it's so hard to predict. I mean, this morning we thought that the wind was going to completely shut down here in Genova, but it picked up. The wind was blowing, and Wind Whisper Racing Team has just sailed a beautiful angle into us here a couple of hours earlier than expected. What's going to happen for the others? Well, it looks like that wind's going to shut down through the rest of the day today, and they're going to be sailing into decreasing wind. But in the Mediterranean coming up here, you know, we got a curveball thrown at us this morning, so who knows what the teams. But it's looking like tomorrow for the Amocas and the VO65s, and that group is incredibly close together. I think we're going to see similar to The Hague, where the rest of the fleet is pretty much going to join us in about a couple of hours apart from each other.
That's right, Jesse. So exciting times coming up here in the Ocean Life Park in Genova, Italy. So stay with us. How exciting.
Oh, thanks, Natasha. Thanks, Jesse. Wind Whisper Racing Team continue to make their way towards the finish line, and we're just getting a little bit of a chance to see some of the crew on board and who's coming up. It's been an incredibly long leg for this VO65 and, of course, the rest of the fleet, as well as the Amocas as well. Longer than anybody really predicted. The original arrival was meant to be on Sunday. Wind Whisper Racing Team, the only boat that's getting anywhere near that, finishing today. The rest of the fleet are going to be spread out over the next 24, 48 hours. And now for Wind Whisper Racing Team, as the crew go towards the bow, just as the wind starts to get a little bit lighter, wanting to get their weight further forward, always looking to find any extra speed that they can, wanting to get across that finish line as soon as possible, because there is going to be quite the welcome waiting for them on shore. Breeze blowing for Wind Whisper Racing Team at the moment, and Richard Brecius, the chairman of the Ocean Race in the White Rib, ready to welcome in the first boat from either of our two fleets, but the first boat of our VO65s. And at this point, really, it's a formality for the Polish team. They're going to be crossing this finish line, taking the maximum of 6 points for this final stage of the Ocean Race VO65 Sprint, and that is going to cement their position at the top of the leaderboard. It's always provisional until it's confirmed by the race management team, but certainly the maths put this boat absolutely out of reach of anybody else, no matter what happens behind them. Good breeze all the way into the harbour, all the way to the city shoreline at the moment. Trying to identify who it is that's on the helm. At the right hand of the helm, the helmsman at the moment just being on those keel controls, and that's a little bit of an indicator as to how light the conditions are right now. They're not quite fully powered up, they're just in risk of getting a little bit soft on the breeze, so one finger able to just tweak that keel up and down, just keeping the boat at its optimum heel. All of the crew for Wind Whisperer Racing Team making their way up now onto the deck. Everybody ready to celebrate the finish line. Just a little bit ahead for Wind Whisperer Racing Team, but it will be easy for them to lay. It's just straight across the line from the angle that they're sailing at the moment. Some of the forecasts predicted a much harder, a much more challenging moment coming into the finish for this team and potentially for the other teams behind. Drifting in, multiple maneuvers to get themselves in. But now for Wind Whisperer Racing Team, having lined themselves up really nicely on this angle of the breeze, they're going to be able to just sail in on this angle. Full sail on the main, masthead code 0. Sailing as fast as they possibly can to the finish line, just a little way ahead of them now. Still some patches in the breeze just off to the right hand side, but as the camera comes around you can see the finish line now ahead, those white marks just ahead of Wind Whisperer Racing Team near the yacht with the black mast, and there's good breeze out there. Some local dinghies coming out as well, enjoying the earlier sea breeze, earlier than we certainly predicted here, but it's bringing the Polish boat into the finish line with good pace at the moment. 8 knots the speed right now for the red hull, and that finish line just in front of them there. Full flotilla of boats welcoming in the first of our VO65s, the boat that will soon, we hope, be confirmed as the winner of the Ocean Race VO65 Sprint, and we'll be ready to lift the trophy. All of the crew up and on deck as the helicopter comes down low to follow this boat in to the finish line. On shore waiting for the team is Pablo Arata, the skipper of this boat, not being able to sail on this final stage, but ready to be there for the team as they come in. Maybe 100, 150 meters left to go here for Wind Whisperer Racing Team. No slowdown on the boat speed, no easing up of the breeze. lined themselves up with a jibe earlier on, a good few miles out, then the tacks, the final push in, and the angle that they have picked here to sail into the finish has worked perfectly for them, keeping them powered up on this final approach. Smiles breaking out now for the crew of the VO65. Axel Magdal on the right hand side, the navigator that has done so much for teams in the history of the ocean race, a navigator that has been lending his expertise to so many campaigns. Here on the water today, finishing off an absolute tour de force, but not just about one person, of course. The slickness of the team, the crew, the coordination, hardly ever putting a foot wrong. And now 5 boat lengths to go before they cross the finish line, wrapping up this journey in the Ocean Race VO65 sprint. Wind Whisper Racing Team bears away to go through the finish line here at the grand finale in Genova, taking the maximum points, 6 points to the winner of the final stage. Wind Whisper Racing Team, a superb performance on the water.
Good fucking job. Well done. Well done. Just kidding. Go.
Celebrations on board Wind Whisper Racing Team. The writing has been on the wall for this moment for days, really. This boat broke away from everybody else as they exited the Strait of Gibraltar. They managed to find the breeze when everybody else was, almost a little bit too cautious. But for the Polish boat, Axel Magdal, the navigator, Darrell Wislang, the skipper for this stage, and the rest of the crew providing that power and providing all the maneuvers around the racetrack, they have found the perfect line here. And they came into the Mediterranean through the Strait of Gibraltar, a good 100 miles in the lead, and they never relinquished it.
Congratulations. Last deal. Darrell. Thank you. Thank you, Lars. Ladies. Sorry. Get your bag. Guys. Okay, Darrell. Okay. So, Darrell. You're good, Daryl, for the interview?
Celebrations on the deck for Wind Whisper Racing Team and the crew Shore team, the support rib alongside, passing up some provisions. It's been a long, hot few days here in the Mediterranean, and indeed the first few days down the European coast, but now the team gets to step onto the top of the deck, the all-important photograph, just to try and immortalize this moment.
3, 2, 1. Woo!
Some quick celebrations for the VO65. Now, of course, they've got to get the mainsail down. They've already got the head sails furled. They've got some fresh drink. They've got some fresh food on board the boat, passed over. But that's just the first of the welcome. Now for the VO65, they can make their way inside the harbour of Genova and inside the Ocean Life Park. And they'll be the first of the VO65 fleet and the first of either of our fleets to be on the pontoon.
Can we go, Daryl? Daryl, Wind Whisper has just won.
A quick word for the skipper on this final stage. Let's go down to the dock and have a look at the welcome that is getting ready for this boat.
Thanks, Niall. Yeah, so Wind Whisper has crossed the finish line. How exciting. After 10 days, 23 hours, 17 minutes and 52 seconds. Today, the 26th of June, here in Genova, Italia.
Yeah,
how exciting. Our first
result.
boat, our first arrival here.
And it's so beautiful down here in the harbour. This is a really exciting thing happening this week as well. We've got the Legends Racing Regatta that's coming as well. And for me, big talking point as a proud Kiwi, Daryl Wislang crossing the line and taking another trophy for him as well. Obviously, he was involved with Dongfeng Race Team in the last edition of the race, lifting the Ocean Race trophy last time, and this is another one for Daryl, so he'll be really stoked. But also that team, a very young Polish team in the mix there, and they're very hungry. They're very excited that ocean racing is coming back to Poland, so I know there's going to be some very excited faces on board that boat when they arrive in very soon.
But tell us more about the Legends Regatta that's happening tomorrow.
Yeah, so we've got some incredible boats. B&B Italia, which is obviously one of the crowd favourites down here in Genova. New Zealand Endeavour, the boat that Grant Dalton won the ocean race on in 94, 95. We've got some of the VO Open 70s there. Ericsson 1, which was an absolute weapon of a boat there. So some great boats there, and they'll be racing on Tuesday, so they'll be racing here tomorrow. They'll have their own regatta, and then on Friday they'll be heading down to Portofino as well for a coastal race. I'm not sure if they'll make it back from Portofino. I think they'll probably stop off and enjoy a spritz when they're down there. So it's going to be a great week, and we've got some incredible legends that are going to be here as well. Obviously, Paul Kayard, who is famous here in Italy, is going to be great to have him here in Genova this week.
Well, there you go. As you can see, there's plenty of celebrations, plenty of things to look forward to here in the Ocean Life Park. But right now, what's important is to welcome Wind Whisper. There's plenty of people here lining up to welcome the team, and how exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Italians are very passionate sporting fans, and they've got a rich history with the race as well. So they're slowly coming into filter. It's obviously a Monday morning here. We had a great weekend, but the fans are starting to come down, and it's going to be a fantastic day. And Wind Whisper, I mean, Natasha, what a race that they've sailed. That whole team has just sailed extraordinarily. Navigationally, they were perfect, and you know, they were the team to beat. I mean, what a performance. Winning the first leg, winning the second leg, and winning here. Virtually just undefeated through the whole thing.
We will soon have 11 sailors, 10 sailors and an OBR joining us here on the dock. So looking forward to asking him how it was.
And as well, yeah, for me, the Polish, the owner, he absolutely loves it, and for the champagne spray bottle moment, he's going to be absolutely going for it. I can guarantee you that.
For sure. Plenty of celebrations coming up here on the docks very soon.
The preparations for Wind Whisper Racing Team getting themselves to the harbour are well underway now. The head sails are down. The motor is on, and the boat is starting to make its way in. It's an incredibly impressive lineup of sailors on board this boat, and while a lot of time will be taken and a lot of fingers will be pointed at some of the big names on there, I mean Axel Magdal, Daryl Wislang, Pablo Arata, previous winners. Daryl Wislang, this is he comes into this with 2 previous ocean race wins already with Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing and Dongfeng Race Team, but one of the things will be the young faces that we are seeing now doing the work at the front of the boat. The young names that for Poland and for the offshore sailing world are certainly going to be back on the water incredibly soon, ready to take on the next challenge of whatever regattas they can get themselves into. And what performing here, being underneath the tutelage of some of the names that we've been talking about, previous race winners, people like Liz Wardley as well, the boat captain for Wind Whisper Racing Team. Been in the race for many years, sailing on Turn the Tide on Plastic in the last edition, Team SCA before then. That wasn't her first time in the race as well. This is somebody who's a real contributor to the history of the race, and for the young people on board Wind Whisper Racing Team, learning from some of the best. This is a perfect example of how the big names from the past are passing those patterns over to the stars of the future. Amazing to see the care that Liz is taking there with the halyards and the sheets, putting everything away, coiling things, putting it away as if there is going to be a race tomorrow. We're going to see the import racing at the weekend, but it's a long way to go. But amazing for these sailors. They have just finished over 10 days of racing in the heat, in the light airs, straining their concentration. And now all they want to do is get themselves back to the dock. But they know that they can't just drop the sails in any old pile. They still have to look after their boat, but they have one more small push to make, which is the import series for the Ocean Race VO65 Sprint. Unhanking the head sail at the front. The main's still up at the moment. We'll have to see that one come down before they can get themselves into the dock. But the good thing is just the breeze here that's been staying with the boat all the way through. They've been enjoying the perfect conditions all the way on their approach here to Genova. And they're about to be in there with the enthusiasm of the crowd as well. The fresh fruit on board, cans of soda as well. All the things that you crave after being offshore, living on freeze-dried food for so long. Packing away the boat, getting themselves ready. being guided in by some of the local boats, some of the local yachts. Making their way here into Genova. They're just about to come into the harbour wall. And from there, the Ocean Life Park is just a little bit further in and to the right. It's an incredibly busy port here, not just for sailing, not just for yachts, with a lot of dinghies going out and enjoying the conditions in the afternoon, but also cruise ships, fishing boats. And amazing over the last few days to see such history as well, with 150-year-old Genoese sailing boats sailing just in front of the Ocean Life Park, just in the harbour. And now they get their chance to see the VO65s coming in. And the first of them, Wind Whisper Racing Team. Soon to be confirmed as the winner of the Ocean Race VO65 sprint. Last bit of work on the head sail, getting everything packed away soon. The main sail will be coming down on Wind Whisper Racing Team. And as the camera pans around, you can see nobody else on the horizon, no other sailing yachts in this class all the way out there. A huge lead here, an incredible performance, and Natasha is down there with the Ocean Race chairman, Richard Bricius, to get his thoughts on this amazing performance.
Richard Bricius, so nice to see you here on the docks, and Wind Whisper has crossed the finish line. Is that what you were doing out on the water? You were watching them cross the finish line?
Yeah, it was, and it's actually my first arrival that I've been on the water. So it was, I normally stay on shore, but this one I said I'm going to be out on the water, and it was pretty emotional because it's the first boat at the end of the Ocean Race edition. So now truly enjoyable, and a very worthy winner in Wind Whisper. They sailed very well, and especially this leg, you saw how they came out of the English Channel and got that 2-3 mile gap, and then managed to get into the new wind, went around the southwest corner of Portugal and managed to build this enormous lead, which is rare in this race and rare in sailing. So I think they felt really good from coming through Gibraltar and up to here and sailed well. So worthy winner in Wind Whisper, and congratulations to them.
Yes, for sure. They did a fantastic job. How exciting to welcome them here on the dock. We can see them right behind us here, the sail coming up. But tell us, Richard, who else was on the rib with you during this little ballad that you did on the water?
No, it was the mayor of Genoa, Marco Bucci, who is really a great visionary and a strong leader in this town and in this country, I must say, who has had the vision of bringing the ocean race and to Genoa, but also a driver behind the Genoa process, where we're driving towards the creation of a universal declaration of ocean rights together. And there was also the Rear Admiral Nannini, who is the head of the Hydrographic Institute here in Genoa and a key person in the Navy in Italy, and who's also a visionary behind the ocean race and what we do together. So, no, I was in the best of company, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Speaking Italian, I'm sure, because what a surprise it was for me to see you on stage the other day speaking Italian. Why do you speak Italian?
Well, no, I actually learned Italian because I raced around the world in the ocean race with Italian boats twice. And then the owner told me I was lucky, I was at the right spot at the right time to get a spot on the boat, but he said, you have to learn Italian, Richard, if you're going to do this. So I stayed here with a group of Italians. We prepared the boat for the race. I learned all the bad words first, and then I got into speaking the language. So yeah, no, it's like my second language now.
So you see, it's very international, this ocean race. Our race direct CEO. What is your title exactly?
Yeah, I'm carrying the binders, I used to say.
Yeah. Anyway, here they come around the corner. How exciting.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. And they passed by the Palinuro, which is one of the beautiful Italian Navy sailing tall ships, a school ship. And in a few days we will have the famous Amerigo Vespucci coming here, which is much bigger than that enormously big ship. The Amerigo Vespucci is by many considered the most beautiful ship in the world. So watch that when it comes in, Natasha. It's amazing. But Palinuro is also amazing. If you get a chance to get on board, the level of maintenance is outstanding. And there you have it, Wind Whisper. It's a good name, huh? Wind Whisper. Yeah.
That's right. There they are. They come. Thank you, Richard. Thanks for your time.
Richard Brecius, the Ocean Race chairman, ready on the dock to welcome in Wind Whisper, still with the main up, but I think just absolutely eager to get themselves in and get themselves tied up. That main might be staying up for a little bit while. They want to get themselves on the dock. They want to get this party started for a crew that has been waiting for this moment and feeling confident about this moment since all the way back in January. Very early on, this boat threw down the gauntlet in terms of coordination, style and speed, and the confidence that they brought to their decision making as well. The confidence that comes from the crew being able to respond to the navigator, to the tacticians, being able to deliver whatever maneuvers, however many jibes through the night, through the rough winds, however many tacks exiting the Strait of Gibraltar in that 50 knots that we saw for the fleet. Everybody on this boat contributing to the performance, whether it was stepping up and delivering, whether it was the homework before even the first start line, the first stage had started. And that's only the sailors that we can see now, of course. So many other people out of shot, perhaps not even here in Genova. But a team always so much more than just the sailors on the boat. The crowd's now ready on the dock, ready to welcome in the Wind Whisper racing team. Plenty of crowds down there in the Ocean Life Park. They've been waiting extra days to get this boat in, but somebody else waiting was the mayor of Genova, and we can hear from him now.
Moments away, Valerio, the crowd is starting to fill up, but if you just
thank you, Niall. Mr. Bucci, we met in The Hague right before the boats left. How is it nice having the crowds here in Genova?
It's very nice. I feel really good. It was good to be in Den Haag to say ciao to everybody over there. And now we got the crew here. The first one is Wind Whisper. I'm very happy about it. I mean, the people of Genoa is giving everybody a warm welcome. We got the sea and the sailing in our blood. So this is why we are really happy about it. The city of Genoa want to have great visibility and send a great message to everybody in the world. We need to protect the ocean. We need to do our best for a great event.
Thank you so much for having us.
Very welcome.
Thank you. Grazie, grazie mille.
Everybody ready to welcome in Wind Whisper Racing Team in the boat, now making their final preparations. They have left this moment, dropping of the mainsail right to the last, possibly wanting to fly the flag, the name of their team, as high as they could for the crowds. But there has been no doubt as to which of the VO65s would be first into the Ocean Life Park, first into the harbour here, into our grand finale, because Wind Whisper Racing Team has been leading since the early days of this final stage. The mainsail, 2/3 down now. And as the final bit comes down, the Polish flag flying. Friends, family, ready to welcome the sailors in. Sailing through the Mediterranean, sailing down the European coast. Not as grueling as the Southern Ocean or some of the other areas that the ocean race goes, but in the heat for 10 days, in the light. It's a different kind of strain. It's certainly a challenge in its own right. And it's been a long time, I'm sure, for the families waiting for the sailors to get back onto the shore. Just making sure that that mainsail being lowered in coordination with everybody putting it onto the boom, knowing that there's still one more push, one more ask for this mainsail in the import race. But now, just as the VO65 gets themselves down there onto the dock, Natasha is with Magda Mikalska, and we can hear from them now.
Hi Magda, excited to see your boat come in. Team manager of Wind Whisper, and you're from Poland and the team is Polish. How proud are you today?
Well, it's definitely a day for Polish Sailing Federation and for the community as well. It's the biggest achievement we've done so far in ocean racing, so we're super happy about that.
How are you going to celebrate this win today?
Well, I guess everyone will have a big night today, not only here in Genova, but in Poland as well. Everyone is with us. We get a lot of messages from all over the country, so we are super proud to be here, and thank you for cheering us up from the very beginning until the very end.
What message do you want to send in Polish to Polish viewers?
Dziękujemy bardzo za wsparcie. Bądźcie z nami i w przyszłych projektach.
Thank you. Congratulations. Enjoy.
Thank you so much. We are super happy.
Natasha on the dock there with the team members, the shore crew members for Wind Whisper Racing Team. And the boat will soon be among them with the sailors stepping off onto the dock. And a little bit impressive, just helming the boat backwards while also texting the family. Liz Wardley just crouching underneath the boom in the white cap on the throttle, controlling the speed of the boat, while Darrell Wislang on the helm, keeping the boat under control while that last little bit of the mainsail gets underway. The head of the mainsail connected to the mast, but the top batten, because it's diagonal, you have to unattach the head before you can get the final little bit of the main down. So that last little bit always takes a little bit more time to do. It feels a little bit like an agony for the sailors, just wanting to get that last little bit of the main down and put away. But it's light breeze here in the harbour. If anything, it gives the impression that the wind has actually died since this team has sailed across the finish line, riding the earlier than expected thermal breeze here. There you can see the bow crew forward. This is where the Allen key comes out, unattaching that top head sail car with that big diagonal batten, a little under 2 meters in length. Liz Wardley taking everything in her stride, of course. So much is always said about how the race, any sailboat race is won before you even get to that first start line. And for the crowds, they have known that it's going to be Wind Whisper Racing Team coming in. They knew that the Polish boat was going to be the one that was needing the first welcome for days. Miles ahead. And Darrell Wislang on the helm here. Somebody that took on the baton of the skipper for this final stage, and that was going to be big shoes, I'm sure. Must have felt like an incredible amount of pressure. Stepping up to the skipper role on that final stage to a boat which is almost all but won this event, and knowing that ultimately your actions either going to continue that winning streak, or you could be the skipper that might see the boat finally knocked off the top spot. But he left absolutely no doubt as to how worthy he was of taking on the leadership role. That Pablo Arata, stepping ashore, missing out on this final stage, has left open. Darrell Wislang doing a great job, supported by the team, and the miles and the distance says it all. We are not expecting the next VO65 second place, the boat that will be racing against Wind Whisper Racing Team. We are not expecting anybody else until tomorrow. A huge lead, an absolutely enormous cushion between Wind Whisper Racing Team and the next nearest VO65. Wind Whisper Racing Team now just going forward and backwards on the throttle. Darrell Wistang on the helm, just keeping the boat under control and pointing largely head to wind, and just signaling the boats behind to go through behind them. Oh, the boat that seems to be going behind is New Zealand Endeavour, one of the legends of the ocean race. Competed and won the race in 93, 94. I'm sure Darrell Wistang knows that one very well. Darrell has done an absolutely great job. Now his final task here is just to park this VO65 without a scratch. Potentially keep the boat in as good a condition as this boat is still in now. New Zealand Endeavour out on the water to welcome this boat in. And soon to welcome in Wind Whisper Racing Team is the skipper, Pablo Arate, down on the dock. And he is there talking to Natasha.
Thanks, Niall. Paolo, it's nice to see you here. It was a lovely surprise. I didn't expect for you to see here, because when we saw you leaving The Hague after the import race, you were really like going to the airport to get on a flight to go do some other things. But it's a lovely surprise. And are you happy to see your boat come in here?
Thank you very much. I just arrived this morning, so I'm very lucky to be able to receive the boat again. And it's great that they won the leg. So we won the Spring Cup and we are super happy. The team is super happy.
And how gutted are you that you weren't on board in this last leg?
I follow them a lot. You know, the tracker, I think probably I burned the tracker off. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's a very good crew on board. So I was quite relaxed in that sense. But for me, it's a little bit disappointed not being able to be in this leg. But it's all right. I had another commitment, so I couldn't do it.
That's the life of a busy sailor, I guess.
It is. Definitely it is. I'm very lucky for that, so it's all right.
And en español, ¿qué mensajes quiere mandarles a los televidentes españoles de este momento, como lo estás viviendo?
Nada, pues que aquí estamos, el Team Wind Whisper, ¿no? Después del Spring Cup acaba de llegar el barco a Génova. Yo no he podido estar a bordo, desafortunadamente, por otros proyectos, pero nada, hemos ganado la etapa, hemos ganado el Spring Cup y el equipo está muy contento y nada, todo genial.
Qué bien. Gracias por venir y felicidades.
Muchísimas gracias.
He's ready to catch the lines of this boat, I'm sure. And as he's saying to Natasha, sad to miss out, but what an incredible performance. He's obviously spurred this team on well and built a very strong performance network for the boat, making sure that this boat was leaving in absolutely perfect condition and with a crew that was going to be able to get the very best out of it. That mainsail now down and on the boom, the final few sail ties just going around, just securing everything in place. And then Darrell Wistang is going to be able to take this VO65 into the first of our Ocean Life Park pontoons to be filled by either the Imoca or the VO65. I think a lot of people were expecting it to be the Imocas to come in here, but the light winds, the upwinds, absolutely playing into the hands of the VO65s. On the bow, the crew ready with the lines. Fenders out ready on the port side. And that mainsail now secured, so Wind Whisper Racing Team will be heading towards the pontoon. Just waving the camera boat out of the way there. I think what Darrell wants to do here is he wants to turn the helm up and then sort of reverse in, but the crew out in the water want to get the perfect shot as well. That's going to be the pontoon. That's going to be the spot for Wind Whisper Racing Team. The flags are out and the team is ready. Everybody here visiting the Ocean Life Park today has had to wait far longer than expected for this moment. Originally predicted was the arrivals yesterday on the Sunday. Today we should have been seeing the bulk of our fleet, but that was the prediction really before this final stage. This leg had even started. but the writing was on the wall in terms of the light conditions that all the boats had to face through the channel and then down through the Bay of Biscay and past the southern edge of Portugal and Spain. In the Mediterranean, the racing has actually been relatively quick compared to what we were expecting. And now there's just half a boat length to go for the Polish boat before this journey is complete. And everybody now on the dock welcoming in Wind Whisper Racing Team, the first of our VO65s. The boat that has won all 3 stages in the Ocean Race VO65 sprint. And a great moment for the crew, for the team, for everybody who has contributed to making this boat and their performance so formidable compared to the other boats out in the water. 130 miles away, the rest of the VO65s are still racing, still trying to find the correct path here to Genova. Wind Whisper Racing Team, truly untouchable.
Here they are, taking the official photo as the Sprint Cup winners. Let's give them a round of applause. World Snooker Racing Team. È la foto della competizione, è la foto per i vincitori della Sprint Cup. Accanto a me foto per ricevere anche la pasta al verso, ma occhio perché prima di tutto, come nella prima tradizione, poi di 19 anni si festeggia! Will Whisper, vincitore della Sprint Cup! Campione accanto a noi anche il sindaco di Genova, Monzi, che sta per offrire all'equipaggio vincitore della Sprint Cup. Nella buona posizione il numero genovese il sesto. Appena pronte le trofie al sesto vengono servite all'equipaggio della Will Whisper dal sindaco in persona. Quando Bucci è un momento meraviglioso, un momento di emozione, un momento di commozione e di trasporto, è davvero un'atmosfera incredibile quella che si vive a bordo della Wind Whisper qui in panchina qui all'Ocean Live Park di Genova. Che settimana, che giornata, è straordinaria, semplicemente straordinaria, ed è qui, è a casa nostra e si mangia, come si mangia, no?
winners of all three of the legs here in the VO65 Sprint Cup. Look at the smiles on their faces. One, because they're the champions, and two, they're enjoying a beautiful Pasta Pesto. Pure happiness, pure joy on their faces.
Sguardi vivi di emozione e di gioia per aver completato un percorso perfetto, le 3 tappe vinte, la classifica generale portata a casa da mani basse, e anche perché è stato una pasta.
Daryl, bienvenuti. Welcome to Genova. First leg, you won the Sprint Cup. How does it feel?
Yeah, great. Brilliant to be here, and we had a great race down, and team did a great job. Really happy with how Patana put it together, and very grateful for being able to take over the reins for the leg. It's huge pleasure to sail with everyone, and we're just super stoked to be here and to win into Genoa.
What was the most difficult part of this leg?
For sure the first transition coming out of the English Channel, and that's where we got the jump on the fleet, and then obviously coming into the Med, we really had no option to go up the coast like the other boats did. If we had gone that way, we would have stopped and they would have all caught up, and we would have given up our lead. So, going the other way and believing in our convictions and routing, it was a huge call, but that's the only option we really had to do.
Yeah, Axel did a really good job with the routing.
Yeah. It's an absolute pleasure to work with Axel, and hopefully we can do some more at some stage.
Excellent. Well, enjoy this win and enjoy time with the family as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Team are just going through the finishing touches of a great race for World Racing Team, and we've just had word that they'll be making their way very soon up to the main stage with the grand finale.
I'm here with Mati, one of the Polish young sailors on Wind Whisperer Racing team. How was this whole Sprint Cup for you? What was the experience like?
It was great, the whole race, the whole atmosphere around the race. Like, it was great to be on all the stopovers for Volvo 65 class. It was a pleasure being here.
And how was this leg? What was the hardest and the most enjoyable part of this last leg?
For sure, the hardest parts were the no wind patches. We managed to get through with all of them pretty quickly, so there's a good gains to the other boats. But yeah, it was a tough leg and a long one.
And what did you enjoy the most of this leg?
I think the good upwind breeze that we had near the African coast. We got up to 25 knots of both wind speed, so they're pretty tough and good conditions.
Fantastic. And in Polish, what is a message that you want to send to the viewers in Poland?
Dziękujemy wam wszystkim za kibicowanie I kochamy was. Do pozdrowienia.
And can you explain in Polish as well, you know, what does it feel to arrive here in Genoa, to have won the Sprint Cup and be a part of Wind Whisperer Racing Team?
Na pewno jest to wielkie szczęście dojechać tu jako pierwsza łódka w klasie Volvo 65 Kiwi Moce. Jesteśmy bardzo szczęśliwi I czeka nas jeszcze jeden krótki importowy wyścig I lecimy do Polski.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Celebrations continuing here on the dock. Shortly, the crew of Wind Whisperer Racing Team are going to be stepping off the VO65, making their way to the stage. There's awards, there's trophies. They are waiting for this team. But for the moment, the crew is taking a little bit of a chance to put some fresh food. Or maybe not even that fresh, but certainly the food that they have been longing to have. They are looking to put that food into their stomach, getting themselves fed and recovered from a leg. And we can hear now from another member of Wind Whisperer Racing Team, ocean race, many-time competitor Liz Wardley.
Liz, you're an all-timer. I mean, you've participated in the ocean race quite a few times. What does this win feel like for you today?
It feels pretty amazing. I mean, we put a lot of work into getting the boat ready, you know, a 5-month refit, and then, you know, leg 1 and did well, and leg 6 we did really well, and coming in, but, you know, with a 100-mile plus lead into the finale in Genova is, it's pretty cool. Also, we're in front of the IMOCAs, so, you know, it's a double win.
You feel very proud of that?
Yeah, really proud. Yeah, worked hard for it, and here we are. We got it.
Fantastic. And what a welcome, huh? Here in Genova. Been here before?
I have been here quite a few times for the boat show, and yeah, it's always there's always big crowds here, and we had a warm welcome on the water, and everyone was very excited to see us come in, so thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thank you. What was the hardest part of this leg?
I think the hardest part was coming in once we had such a big lead into the Mediterranean, because of course the forecast can be a little bit, you know, not very thorough, and so there was always the option that the guys behind could catch us. So we were always, you know, we were being hunted the whole time. So it was a bit stressful.
But you had a great lead anyway. And I see that your friends met you dockside and gave you a little gift here. Who's that?
Yeah, so this is Wisdom, the ocean race mascot. I now have 4 of them because of 4 participations. So there we go.
Building up a collection.
Yeah.
Thanks. Enjoy the win. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Liz Wardley from Wind Whisperer Racing Team, but not the only person, I'm sure, on this boat that is happy with the performance and the incredible speed and distance that they have put over their rivals. We can hear from another crew member of Wind Whisperer Racing Team, Thomas Piotrowski, on the dock at the moment, having a little bit of a chance to get some food and get some drink inside, and now ready to talk to us about what has been an impressive stage here for Wind Whisperer Racing Team. All 3 of the stages of the Ocean Race VO65 Sprint going to the Polish team, and this last one going in incredible style, 130 miles between now here in Genova and the next VO65. The lead for this boat here, truly phenomenal, and not something that we really saw in the last edition of the Ocean Race with the VO65s. Some great sailing from Wind Whisper Racing Team, and let's hear now from Thomas Piotrowski.
Thanks, Niall. Thomas, great to see you here. Loved all the work that you sent and watching what it was like to be on board. What was the most difficult thing with this last leg for as an OBR on board?
So happy to see you, Natasha, again. That's the first thing. So probably the most difficult and challenging thing was to create something from, let's say, nothing. That's what my crew was saying to me all the time, because, there was no much wind all the time. There was many maneuvers. They were not slipping much. So there was a lot of things happening all the time, a lot of maneuvers, a lot of tacking, jibing, changing sails. But you had to be creative to prepare something nice for you, for the audience, because there was no waves. Every OBR is waiting, for extreme conditions. For water coming over the hull, over the cockpit. That's what we're waiting for, and unfortunately there was nothing like this during this leg. That was during the leg one, so probably that was that.
And the welcome here in Genova, is it your first time here?
It's of course not my first time here in Genova, but first time in the Ocean Race in the Genova. The welcome was exceptional. We were all surprised because it was the best welcome probably during the last few months. So that was crazy, beautiful, a lot of people, a lot of cameras. Of course, many people you already know. So that's super cool here.
So your job now as an OBR, does it end or do you still have some work to do, some editing? I don't know, tell us.
Of course, as OBR, I'm always on duty. I'm always working 24/7. So I'm here with the team till July 2nd. So I'll be working every single day during the programs, during the import race, so July the 1st. Prize giving. Today, during the prize giving, I'm always on duty.
Okay, well, we look forward to seeing what else you bring to us from Wind Whisper. Thanks.
Thank you a lot, Natasha.
The work of the onboard reporters on the VO65s and our Ramoccas is so integral and such a treat for those of us that like to get those little snapshots of what life is like out there on the water in such a grueling competition, whether it's the Ocean Race, whether it's the Ocean Race VO65 Sprint.
Przepraszam, po polsku. Uczestniczenie w The Ocean Race Sprint Cup jest czymś niesamowitym, jest marzeniem każdego żeglarza. Jestem nie tylko OBR-em, czyli nie tylko reporterem pokładowym, ale jestem też zawodowym żeglarzem. Także moje marzenie z mojej perspektywy się wreszcie spełniło. Uczestniczyłem w tym fantastycznym wydarzeniu. Natomiast co do moich obowiązków, moimi obowiązkami jest tworzenie wspomnień dla Państwa, ale również dla naszych dzielnych żeglarzy, żeby mieli pamiątkę na całe życie. Niektórzy z naszych żeglarzy uczestniczyli w tym pięknym evencie już wielokrotnie, więc dla nich to jest kolejny raz, kolejne pamiątki, natomiast dla młodej części załogi jest to coś niesamowitego i będą to wspaniałe wspomnienia, mam nadzieję, zachowane na moim dysku dla nich na wieczność. A co robię? Kręcę filmy, robię zdjęcia, robię wywiady i staram się być czujnym, co się dzieje na pokładzie, aby uchwycić najlepsze momenty, które się dzieją w czasie tego pięknego wydarzenia na środku morza.
Well, thank you very much. I wish I understood.
Yes, thank you.
It sounds very beautiful, though.
A little bit. Thank you a lot.
Wind Whisper Racing Team, and it looks to be that all of the crew have now stepped off the VO65 and are making their way through the press, through all the interviews that they've been conducting on the dock. And just behind the boat, you can see that an enormous white tent structure. In there is the stage for the Ocean Life Park, where the crew are going to be heading to shortly, getting themselves up on the stage, and that's where the awards are going to be for this team. Team getting themselves ready for this moment for a long time. The writing has been on the wall for a long while, and we can hear now from another crew member of Wind Whisper Racing Team, Stanislaw Bagasowski.
Stan, yet another young Polish sailor here on Wind Whisper Racing Team. How was the leg?
It was long, it was exhausting, but we had a lot of fun during it. I think we extended the lead quite massively, So we're very happy that we're here first, and we are in the day. We planned, and it was a lot of fun on the way.
Tell us about your position on board.
So I'm pitman in our team, so I'm managing all the front cockpit, all the ropes like halyards, dagger boards, and all the stuff happening on the bow.
Very physical. Are you exhausted?
Yes, I think it's not like exhausting like, in the gym, like after 10 minutes, it's like a constant exhaustion after a couple of days of hard work and not sleepy nights, tough conditions. But yeah, I'm super happy at the same time.
But the conditions allowed you to sort of enjoy the sailing, no? It was sort of like champagne sailing most of the time, but not all the time?
Yes, of course, it was. Like we thought it's going to be a little, tricky, and it was. But at the same time, the water was flat, it was a little wind, it was a lot of sun, so it was champagne sailing, as you said. But it was tricky as a in terms of tactics.
Well, you guys did a good job. Congratulations. Can you summarize the leg in Polish for the viewers in Poland?
Yeah, of course. Dzień dobry wszystkim w Polsce. Skończyliśmy leg 7 i tym razem całe regaty The Ocean Race Sprint Cup. Przed nami jeszcze tylko wyścig importowy, ale jesteśmy po etapie 7 z Hagi do Genui, który był długi, trwał 11 dni. Po drodze mało wiatru, można powiedzieć, że przyjemna pogoda, bo płaska woda, nie za wiele wiatru, dużo słońca, ale dla nas taktycznie był to wyścig bardzo ciężki, dużo wyzwań, mało snu, ale udało nam się przypłynąć pierwszymi i jesteśmy bardzo z tego szczęśliwi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
So the news have got 2 more to do. So I don't know if we can have one more person.
The boat's packed away now. Wind Whisper Racing Team with the head sails in their bags. The main sail is down. And the crew are largely on the dock. Amazing to see how readily and how quickly they are devouring the food that's out there. It's a long time on the water, but they've had provisions. But nothing beats a hot meal. Just the way you liked it, served by the race team's chef. Liz Wardley, the boat captain for Wind Whisper Racing Team, looks set to be the last person to step off, making sure that everything has been put away, packed away just how she likes it. Now the rest of the team as well, getting themselves ready to go. And now down on the dock, we can hear Phil Harmer, another member of the crew, and a previous winner of the Ocean Race. He's with Natasha.
So, Phil, double celebration today with your birthday as well. So, double congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
How was this leg?
The leg was good. It was challenging to begin with. I mean, these boats are so similar and everyone goes the same speed, so it was just a matter of getting through the light bits and sailing fast, and Daryl and Axel did a great job of the positioning of the boat, and everyone sailed the boat fast, and we got away, and that was it.
That was it. Here you are, winners.
Yeah, that's it.
Did you see any orcas?
We missed them. I think they must be sleeping at night. We went through there in the dark, so we went through stealth mode, and we did see the picture from the other boat. It looked pretty amazing.
But have you had any encounters before with orcas attacking rudders and things like that?
Never. So I haven't been through there in a while, but I've seen it lately. They've been doing it a bit, so we were pretty lucky to get through there unscathed.
Well, perfect. And how are you going to celebrate this double celebration, birthday and a sprint, a leg win and a sprint cup win?
I dare say we'll probably have a nice team dinner tonight somewhere and a few cold beers and see what happens in Genoa.
Yeah, and ready for the import race?
Big day. I'm actually flying back to America in a couple of days, so I'm going to miss it, but I'm sure we'll celebrate hard tonight.
Okay, great. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you. Thanks.
always the problem with professional sailors. There's another sailing gig just around the corner. Phil Harmer already making plans to get on the water again pretty soon, and potentially trying to get more victories under his belt. But for now, and well, following his words for tonight as well, he is there with the team, ready to celebrate a very strong performance. And shortly we should be seeing them presented with the trophy for the Ocean Race VO65 Sprint. Families on the dock now. Daryl Wisdang out there as well. Just getting a little bit of a congratulations there from, I think, Neil Cox, who's part of the team that liaises from the Ocean Race with all the crews and all the boats, and was responsible for the VO65s in the previous editions, making sure that they were all maintained and up to speed. Somebody who knows these boats very well. It's celebrations from Irene van der Lustrik. Moments like this as a young sailor from Poland, from France, from England, from wherever, you come into the Ocean Race, you're here now in the VO65 Sprint, you walk away with a trophy, you walk away with a title. In terms of your sailing CV and what you prove that you can do, and the doors that potentially are about to open for you, it's probably not something that they're thinking about right now, but it's absolutely a reality for any athlete in any sport. Well, as the crew make their way to the stage, we can go back and have a little bit look at the racing and what's going on the water at the moment. These are the rest of our VO65s out there, and they are a long way off coming into the finish here in Genova. You can see the distance there, 120 miles between Wind Whisper Racing Team now in the harbour into that grand finale, and the rest of the boats behind. And that's the route that all of the teams have taken through. And you heard earlier some of the crew mention Wind Whisper Racing Team going down towards the North African coast. You can see that red line diverting from everybody else. And it wasn't just the VO65s, it was the Imocas as well. Everybody thinking that the northern route would be the route to take, but because Wind Whisper Racing Team came through into the Mediterranean so much earlier than the other boats, the breeze for them so different, they had to make their own way into Genova. It was a move that they had to make. It did expose them to a little bit of risk, but for them it has been a very strong one indeed. Now the crew of Wind Whisper Racing Team walking their way through the Ocean Life Park, their boat behind them on the pontoon, and the stage just coming into view on the top right-hand side as we're going to get ready for a ceremony for this incredible crew that has finished this final stage of the Ocean Race VO65 Sprint in fine style.
vai, manda il ritmo, vai, vai, Genova, vai, Win-Whisper, questo è il loro idolo, il loro jingle che hanno usato per le 3 tappe, sulla musica e sulle mani, Ocean Light Park.
We're waiting for one more. Pablo, Arate, come on.
Pablo, lo skipper spagnolo.
Should we let him on? Okay, we'll let him on.
One more.
Come on.
Pablo, Arate, come on.
Skipper, Pablo Arate. Should we let him on? Okay, we'll let him on. Come on.
Pablo, Arate, come on.
Skipper. Special place for Pablo. Wow, what a team this is. Emphatic victory for them, Leg 1 winners, Leg 2 winners, Leg 3 winners, and the overall champs. What a performance.
Hanno vinto la prima tappa, la seconda tappa, hanno portato a casa anche la terza ed ultima, insomma sono i campioni di questa Sprint Cup. Jesse, how could they do? How could they have such an outcome? They won 3 legs out of 3. Come hanno fatto? Hanno vinto 3 tappe su 3. Com'è stato secondo te?
Well, look at them. They're absolute all-stars. Just a sensational bunch. Some veterans of the race, some youngsters too. So just overall a great team.
È un bel mix di esperienza, di giovani, insomma una squadra costruita per vincere ed è quello che hanno fatto.
All right, so let's get this awards presentation underway and welcome our special dignitary onto the stage.
Stiamo per presentare i trofei alle squadre, allora alla squadra vorrei chiamare accanto a me colei che presenterà il trofeo dalle proprie mani, è l'assessore del comune di Genova allo sport e turismo, benvenuta Alessandra Bianchi, benvenuta sul palco. Dalle proprie mani è l'assessore del comune di Genova allo sport e turismo, benvenuta Alessandra.
Very good. Okay, now to get things underway, Alessandra will now present the Burgee to one of the team members, a flag signifying the leg winners here from The Hague to Genova.
L'assessore Bianchi ha il piacere e l'onore di presentare il premio per la vittoria della tappa, il vessillo della Ocean Race della Sprint Cup, così come la coppa per la vittoria.
Yeah, that's right. Gemma Jones there being handed over the Burgee for the winners into Genova. And now we will have the official trophy for Leg 3, the winners from The Hague to Genova, the grand finale, Win-Whisper Racing Team!
I vincitori della terza tappa, dall'Aia a Genova, mostrano il trofeo con fierezza, con orgoglio e con le mani piene di salsedine.
Okay, now the big moment, the main event. This is what we've all come here for. Absolutely fantastic performance from the team. But we'll now do the presentation for the main trophy, if you will.
È il momento che stavamo attendendo.
Are we ready?
È il momento più importante. Stiamo per incoronare con il trofeo più importante, quello della Sprint Cup, i vincitori della categoria.
And the trophy over to Pablo Arate, Win-Whisper Racing Team! The trophy over to Pablo Arate, Win-Whisper Racing Team!
Ci facciamo sentire. Vincitori della Sprint Cup, via 65 dalla Polonia, Win-Whisper!
And they've got the champagne. Here goes the champagne! Way!
Dov'è l'assessore? Salvate l'assessore!
Way!
Era un palco tanto bello questo, funzionava tutto. Sono qui per salvare l'assessore, salviamoci.
We're going to have a quick chat to the man that's Daryl. Are those tears coming down your face or champagne?
Champagne tears for sure.
So Daryl is the winning skipper into Genova, the grand finale. Daryl, talk to us. What a performance from the team. You led virtually from start to finish, and you made it look easy.
Yeah, we got Tom put together a great team for the event.
Celebrations underway here on the stage in Genova, Italia. A very happy team, Wind Whisperer racing team, and Niall is gonna catch us up on the scoreboard.
Oh, the Ocean Race VO65 Sprint Trophy in the hands of Wind Whisperer Racing Team, and this is why the points absolutely proving just what an incredible performance that Pablo Arata's team has done on the waters here. Over 3 stages, Wind Whisperer Racing Team outperforming their rivals and coming into Genova, our grand finale in fine style.